in the audition did you feel like, oh, maybe I got this, or maybe I'm 75% to getting this?
The last audition, for sure. I worked,
not until the last.
Not until the last one. I felt like at the last one I had worked on what I was asked to work on, and I also played with the song a little bit more day by day. I had to do my own kind of rendition of it, and I worked very hard for that one. I knew that going into that last audition that I had to give it my all, and I walked out and I said, I really hope and I really feel like this is it, and yeah.
And you got it.
Yes. What about you, George?
My audition process was kind of, I was living in New York. I had wrapped up the Spring Awakening National Tour, and I moved back to New York, and during the 3 months that I was back, I went in 5 times, and I didn't feel that feeling until the very end as well. But it was one of those situations where when I left the room and I left the building, there's kind of a code for theater people, like when you audition, like don't discuss the audition until you've walked 3 or 4 blocks away from where you auditioned.
Oh,
just in case, just in case someone who's in the room or someone who knows someone is near you. You don't want, you know. And so I walked my 4 blocks and I called my mother because I update her about every audition, and I told her, I was like, you know, I don't know, I might be going crazy, but I think I might have this. And 45 minutes later, I got the phone call from the producer's office, and I was crying and sweating, and I was literally on the floor in the fetal position on the phone with my mother, who is a nurse, and was screaming in a patient's room on the phone with me. Very professional. It was fantastic.
Well, they say Filipinos are about 3 Fs. Have you heard of that? You know the 3 Fs? Want to guess? Faith, food, and family. So let's talk about being Filipino on Broadway. When you guys saw each other, was there the initial Filipino connection?
Of course. He actually Twittered me. He tweeted me and said, "Hey girl, I'm actually doing I'm half Filipino," and so I was like, "Oh yay! I'm so excited to have a Filipino with me too." And then when we met, it was like instant
eating buddies, eating buddies.
So
then comes the second F, the food.
The food. Let's talk about the food.
Yes, my
favorite Filipino food.
Well, my mom is living here, so she has been cooking Filipino food for myself and also the cast. So we've been kind of like having a potluck at
these feasts.
We have feasts
and then nap time.
And then nap time. And so adobo, we've had adobo, sweet spaghetti, sinigang. What else have we had?
Sweet spaghetti with hot dog.
Yes.
Beefsteak. We had beefsteak.
Another trivia about Anna is her makeup artist. Look at her, so gorgeous. Her makeup artist is her mom.
Yes.
So every time she comes out, it's only her mom that does her makeup. Did you know that? See, that's another thing. Right?
Yes, she's a perfectionist, and she never really took it up as a career. She just likes to play and experiment, and she started doing my makeup when I was doing theater when I was younger. So she's been doing it ever since.
Right. And what I like about you also is I've interviewed her many times on the program. She stays true to her Filipino values. So no dating, and I've talked to other Filipinas about no dating, especially those living in the States, and I feel the resentment, the bitterness when, the young ladies are not allowed to date. But Anna, she understands.
Yes.
She sticks to her Filipino values, as I'm sure George. How difficult is it to be Filipino with Filipino values, and we all know that's a little bit conservative, a little bit old-fashioned in an industry as, dynamic as Broadway?
I don't think it's very hard for me to kind of go away from that. Again, it is my Filipino values that I grew up with, and right now it's work. So, I mean, when I'm done with work, maybe, but that's, I'm just focused on that.
I also think our parents create such nurturing homes for us, and what that creates are children who are very confident in who they are and confident in their values. So regardless of what's around them, they will always stay true to themselves. And that applies to both of us. Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned earlier, Anna, that you might want to stay in Broadway for longer.
Yes.
What about?
I do. Hopefully, if there's another production or, after this, I would love to. I love New York and I love Broadway, and I want to continue doing it.
I want her to stay. I want her to stay.
I want
her to stay.
We want to stay.
trip to New York actually sums up everything that we've been talking about on Kababayan LA. The first one, you can take the Filipinos outside of the Philippines, but you cannot take the Philippines outside of the Filipinos. Kahit saan po tayong mga kababayan na mapadpad, tayo po ay mga Pilipino sa isip, sa salita at sa gawa. At tayo pong mga kababayan saan man sa Amerika, tayo po ay magkakaugnay. And so we'd like to invite everyone to come to New York. Bisitahin po natin yung ating mga kababayan dito. And when you find yourself here, make sure you stop by Broadway and you will find yourself celebrating not just Filipino pride in Ana Maria Perez De Tagle, but also on Godspell, makikita po natin we're also celebrating our religiosity, the Word of God na kinagisnan po natin mula po sa ating religiyon. For now, this has been Janelle So, signing off from New York. This is your Kababayan in Los Angeles. Thank you so much for joining us. I'll see you next time. Love me more dearly.